All right, all right. Second story of the day. Now, Adam22 and Wack 100 were on No Jumper, and they were talking about YG's recent album, Just Read Up. Just Read Up came out last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, and it did 8,000 on the charts. Okay, so there's a conversation that's talking about how underwhelming that is. YG has been, he's a staple of West Coast rap. He's got classic album, at least one classic album under his belt. He's got multiple classic songs. My Crazy Life is, to me, the other side of Good Kid, Mad City. And he was at the Pop Out. He's been face forward heavy this year. And they were talking about this release, and since it underwhelmed, they had some thoughts about YG's album underperforming. And take a listen to what Adam22 says.
Who may be what at, but are you saying why didn't he just go out there and do it? I don't know if Kendrick,
I'm just saying
I don't know if
after the whole LA got behind him so hard, does he not owe, a little bit of a look here and there? Maybe do a song with somebody for their project? I mean, it doesn't seem like the biggest ask. Like, why does everybody just allow Kendrick to just exist in this mysterious, quiet little box away from everybody? And then, it's just like he's not expected to hop on anybody's project to do any normal rapper shit.
So Adam is saying that Kendrick let YG down by not hopping on his album. That's what this first part is about. That's what he's addressing. So let's see where they keep going.
I do think it's a decent question.
You don't know what they've done together.
You don't know what they've done together. That's a really sharp answer. You know what I mean? But we don't always see everything that people are doing. We don't always see the full range of what two people's relationship is from their internet movements. Let's see where this goes, though.
You don't know if YG held that back. I don't know what they've done together.
It would have been nice if Kendrick shouted out YG's project, right?
It would have been nice if Kendrick shouted out YG's project. Right, and this is an internet expectation. This is, I think, probably something that most of us generally would appreciate. If we had something happening or something good going on, if people would let everybody know that we got something happening or we got something good going on, right? I don't think that is reflexively an odd question to ask. Let's see what Wack 100 says.
Yes, definitely. Nice. It definitely would have been a good look.
That would have been him behaving like a normal person.
About it, I'm gonna be real.
He's so mysterious.
I'm gonna be real.
That would be him behaving like a normal person. I don't know how normal any of these people are, truthfully. I don't know how normal it is to be a celebrity. I'm not sure how normal that is. I'm not sure how I mean, from my experiences in entertainment, generally speaking, it is an odd amalgamation of all kinds of different people. All kinds of different people. But let's see where Wack goes.
I think YG showed up, right, for one, to generally show support. Two, to let Drake know I didn't appreciate you throwing me in that shit.
That's another thing. Once Drake put YG at the beginning of Family Matters, I'm not sure it doesn't look like at all YG appreciated being put in the middle of something that, one, he wasn't a part of, he didn't have anything to do with, but two, someone from his city. You know what I mean? Someone who they haven't had friction with either. That could have been more about Drake than it could have been about supporting Kendrick. That could have been also to I gotta hold the West down. That's what that could have been. Great point, Wack. Let's see where it goes.
Because me and Kendrick both from Compton, right? He didn't show up to say, Kendrick, I'm here, now do something for me.
I bet if he was still cool with Drake would have.
That's a good point too, Wack. Let's wait. I think I cut off Adam. Let's see what he's saying.
I'm here, now do something for me.
I bet if he was still cool with Drake would have posted his album.
See, okay. Now look, Adam is driving a narrative, right? And look, Wack is on the defensive. Wack's on the defensive. I don't know how much they talked about what this segment was going to be about before before they recorded it, but he's got Wack on the defensive. Let's see where Wack goes.
I mean, I don't know. I think Kendrick showed up, and the people that showed up to support Kendrick showed up genuinely to support Kendrick, not showing up to say, you owe me something.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was genuine, it was organic, it was real. It wasn't like he paid a bunch of people to show up.
No, yeah. They all showed up out of the goodness of their heart. It's kind of weird when you're doing stuff for somebody who doesn't want to return the favor, right?
Well, how do you know that? Did YG come out and say, I reached out to Kendrick and he ignored me? You don't know that. You don't know what them two men have going on.
Great point, Wack. Because Adam is clearly trying to drive this point home, and I don't expect anything less from Adam22 or most people on the internet. I think it's making a logical thing. Hey, we support each other. Why don't you tweet my project? Why don't you do this? I think there's probably a million content creators out there right now who drop a video and then people that they rock with don't even retweet it. Like, you just kind of move on with your day or you don't. I can understand it. It's a very natural thing to expect. But Wack is making great points. We actually have no idea. We have no idea what's going on between those two. And so now this is a forced conversation, trying to create something that is trying to create a friction between these two, when truthfully we don't know. And Wack is just making that point. Let's keep going.
If Academics put out a documentary, and I was all up in the documentary, I promoted the documentary, helped him out with the documentary, and then 6 months later, I put out a documentary. Crickets. Act doesn't shout it out, doesn't post about it. It's pretty easy to post about something.
You would feel some kind of way.
Yeah, I would be like, damn.
I hear what you're saying.
I did a lot for you when you were in the exact same position, and you couldn't.
Well, how was he in the exact same position? Kendrick hasn't dropped an album, and as far as I know, YG didn't drop a documentary. I understand what he's trying to say, but I think exact same position is a little bit strong. And then I'll let you guys know what I think.
Return the favor. That makes me feel like this is kind of a one-sided friendship.
So you saying YG showing up because he wanted to show up to support? There's a million places YG could have been. He showed up because he wanted to show up to support his fellow.
Why do we not
native.
ask of Kendrick the same things that we would expect of like anyone else?
Why do you think that YG showed up to get something in return?
I don't. I'm just wondering why he didn't get something in return.
You're saying that
it would have been nice.
See, that's what I'm saying. You say, I'm wondering why he didn't get something in return. We don't know that. We know that Kendrick didn't tweet about this album. We don't know if there was something. We don't know if there was an exchange. Right? Like this is the definition of like outsiders instigating. Like this is a literal outsider instigation. Now, I understand he's doing it for content, but that's literally what this is, because he's making statements based on his perception that this one particular action is the supreme particular action if there was an exchange. We don't know these things.
Nice.
YG showed up and supported, so you feel Kendrick should have promoted his album? It would have been a nice gesture.
Would have been nice.
But I don't think YG showed up, to get something in return. I think he genuinely was just supporting.
Yeah. I think it's weird that we don't hold him.
I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I definitely agree with Wack, what he's saying there. Now, here's what I think overall. Like, one, we have no idea what the exchange was with that. We have no idea. Two, Mustard produced Not Like Us. Right. It could have been there more so for Mustard. We don't know. Right. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying it could have been that. Three, it could have got paid. Four, it's one of the biggest looks in LA rap live performance history. There's an exchange with that too. Five, Kendrick doesn't tweet or post his own family. Wasn't that Drake's whole angle? When he started saying, hey, Dave Free might be your baby daddy, because if you look on Whitney's Instagram, there's no Kendrick, and Kendrick doesn't post his family. If I'm looking at this and I see a man who doesn't post his family, I'm not expecting him to post about an album. I mean, I don't know if he thinks that YG is Meek Mill or something. That's how Meek Mill and Drake's beef started, because Meek Mill got his Twitter fingers. He was upset because Drake didn't share his album. Does he think YG is Meek Mill? You know what I mean? So that's what I see when I see this. I'm not someone who expects the breadth of a relationship to take place on social media. I don't have that expectation. Now, maybe the thought here is that, if Kendrick had shared this, more people would have listened to it and it would have substantially helped his streams. I'm guessing that's what that is. I'm not sure how successful those kind of things really are when it comes from certain artists. I think we just saw an example of that with Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter and all the people who were supporting those two projects that went head-to-head this week for the #1 album on the Billboard 200. I wonder what the conversion rate is. The point is, I understand what they're saying is like, hey, it's a great visual show of support for something that YG is doing right now. All I'm saying is, we don't know what the exchange is. We don't know if there were other examples of ways that Kendrick has supported, or we don't know what they have coming out yet. And so when I see Adam22 sit here and try to say Kendrick doesn't help anybody, or Kendrick isn't helping him, or Kendrick isn't doing something for YG, and he's basing it off of a social media, essentially popularity contest. He's basing it off of whether or not Kendrick posted about his YG's album, and that is the holy grail supreme example of someone showing support. I think that is narrow, outsider, instigator perspective. And so I don't have enough information to say whatever, Adam22 is saying, whatever the relationship is between Kendrick and YG. I'm sure YG would have appreciated it, but Kendrick doesn't post his family. And I'm sure they know each other better than whatever these two are talking about. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know if you guys feel like we let Kendrick get away with too much, because I think that's his other point, which is another point that I disagree with. Like, this happened during 2020. During 2020, people were like, Kendrick's not outside marching. Well, Kendrick made all right. Everybody was marching to Kendrick. They were marching to that song. And I remember one of these protests. I can't remember if it was 2016 around Mike Brown or if it was 2020. I know at some point Kendrick did go march, but that was another conversation. Where's Kendrick? Kendrick's not out marching. He made all right. Kendrick's entire being how about this? Kendrick's entire music catalog covers the range of experiences of Black Americans and from their love, their pain, their challenges with the justice system, to inequality, to success, to therapy. You know what I mean? He lives in that space from a music standpoint all the time. So showing up as a totem isn't necessarily the only way that I personally look at his contributions to the plight and the struggles around us. And this is another example to me. This is what I see. Now, I want you guys to know, but you guys let me know. Like, do you feel like we let Kendrick get away with more things than other people? And if so, why? Let me know in the comment section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.